So Madara is a super genius mastermind, and Sasuke is still mysterious as fuck. Anyways, guys, I am Kosi from the Otaku Related here with you today with another manga chapter review of the latest manga chapter of Naruto, chapter 675. And oh my god, this chapter was absolutely amazing. From beginning to end, in the middle, I just could not stop. Like, where do I begin with this review? Like I have said in the past with other chapters that I've reviewed, chapters like these literally review themselves. And then it's people like us who basically just fangasm over the content that was in the manga. Oh my god. Take a breather. If you've watched this, if you've read this, then you know what I'm talking about. Because it was fucking epic. Just simply, it was fucking epic. Anyways, let's start with this fangasm analysis review. So from the start, even though there were no chapters last week, the fortnight beforehand, we had with the ending of 674, we had Madara steal Kakashi's Rinnegan after 600 long chapters. Kakashi's Rinnegan was poof, and you know, they were just like out of nowhere. Yoink, took his eye out, threw it in Kamui, and then just transported over to the other dimension. And Madara just throws that black rod. That's what it actually is even translated to, black rod. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, so Madara throws his black rod, and he's about to hit Sakura with it, where in the start of this chapter we have Obito use Kamui on Sakura to transport her from the other dimension to the real dimension. So Sakura is alive and well, and Team 7 has been reformed with Naruto, Sakura, Sasuke, and Kakashi. So that was that. And obviously, I also said in the last review that why would Madara be chasing his Rinnegan if it doesn't give him any sort of power boost? And we learn in this chapter that the power boost he gets from having two Rinneguns is godlike. Even Obito and Black Zetsu even say that with two Rinneguns, nobody will be able to stop him. It also goes on to quote that Obito said that even with one Rinnegan, he nearly, his mind basically nearly collapsed. That one Rinnegan was so overpowering that if he had two, Obito would have died with two Rinnegans, is essentially what Obito is trying to say, that how powerful one Rinnegan is. With two, he would have died. Not 100% sure if Nagato, I think Nagato did have two Rinnegans, so obviously that's more, I don't know, maybe Nagato had a stronger mindset or something. Anyways, who cares about that? That was all in the past. Let's stick with this chapter 675, which was absolutely amazing. So moving on, how we have Black Zetsu say that with two Rinnegans, Madara would be godlike, nobody would be able to stop him, and that quoting, even with just this left one, its chakra and eye power was so strong that I almost lost myself. I'm not even the original owner, and I could still do all this. So that's the quote. So imagine what the original owner, Madara of the Rinnegan, could do, that and more. I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think that Obito could use Limbo. We never saw him use Limbo, so we could assume, I think we never saw him use Limbo, so we could assume that he was never able to use Limbo because he was not the original owner. Now moving on from the overpowered upgrade that Madara would get if he gets two Rinnegans. Moving on to Madara being a super freaking genius. And this came as the biggest, not the biggest shock. I kind of anticipated it because there were clues and hints throughout. But for those who did hint it, you'd be right in saying that Madara was behind Rin's death and the choosing of Obito. So he precisely turned Obito evil. He instigated Obito's darkness, in essence. That is what Madara did. From White Zetsu appearing to Obito while he was in the cave, to Rin being murdered by Kakashi, that was all planned by Madara. First, let's start with what I'm pretty sure is called the Heart Seal. So Madara put a heart seal on both Obito and Rin. I think they were both done earlier in the day, but I'm not 100% sure that there was a heart seal on both Obito and Rin. This heart seal prevents one from doing harm to themselves, so they essentially can't kill themselves. They cannot commit suicide, which is why Rin basically forced Kakashi to kill her, because she was the Jinchuriki of one of the tailed beasts. I'm not 100% sure which one, but she was a Jinchuriki of one of the tailed beasts, and they were going to, for those who don't know the story, they were going to release her into Konoha so that she explodes into the tailed beast and just destroys all of Konoha. So she forced Kakashi to kill her, and then White Zetsu goes, gets Obito, shows him Kakashi killing Rin. Madara implanted that darkness inside Obito's heart, and that's how the wheel started moving and the plan got put in motion. So it was a really huge kind of mystery, conspiracy thing going on there, and Madara was the mastermind, the puppet master of it all. So yeah, that was pretty mind-blowing, I guess, to see, even though there were a lot of clues and it was hinted up until now. But to actually reveal that this was what actually happened is pretty epically epic, to put it in the mildest of forms. Also, Madara even went a step further to put his plan into motion in a time where Minato was away on another mission, so that way Minato could not break up the situation that was going on, in layman terms. Now, moving on from Madara being a super genius mastermind, we have Sasuke, still mysterious as fuck, because after this genius mastermind, we have one scene where we see Naruto being all godlike again, and he seals up Madara's limbo. So now the Madara's limbo is out of action, or we think that it's been sealed by one of the Jubi's chakras and the Sage's Six Paths Black Rod. So now the limbo is unable to move, and then so Naruto rushes back to Kakashi, puts his hand on his eye, does some jutsu, not Sage's Six Paths jutsu thing, and then bang, he just regrew one of Kakashi's missing eyes. What I can tell from what happened there and from Naruto's dumb explanation, which is really what it was, because Naruto himself doesn't even really know what he did, but what I can tell from what happened was that Naruto grabbed other dormant pieces of Kakashi, or say his organisms or whatever, say just pieces of his body, and then turned that flesh, etc., whatever, into an eye. That is what I can take out of what Naruto did. So moving on from there, back onto Sasuke being mysterious as fuck, there is a point where it's somewhat 3 pages of nostalgia where Kakashi is reminiscing about Team 7 and thinking, oh, Team 7's all back together again, all these happy memories. He thinks back to Naruto saying his likes, dislikes, and dreams. So he likes cup ramen, he likes Shiraki's cup ramen even more, and he dislikes waiting the 3 minutes to eat the cup ramen, and his dream is to become Hokage and to have everybody acknowledge him. And then we move on to Sasuke, and Sasuke saying he wants to restore his clan and to kill a certain somebody. So he's already killed Itachi and he wants to restore his clan. And then there was Sakura being all girly and saying, my dream is Sasuke, my love is Sasuke, I want to fuck Sasuke. Fucking Sakura, get the fuck out of my face. Yeah, anyways, with Sasuke. So Kakashi actually asks Sasuke, what is your dream? And then Sakura goes on to say, what did you mean when you said you wanted to become Hokage? What I think he meant, because it moves on from it doesn't actually tell, what I think he meant is when he said he wanted to restore his clan, he wants to be in a position of power where he can tell everybody about the sacrifices that Uchiha Itachi made and have everybody believe him. Because now he is just a traitor. I forgot the word that they used, but he's a traitor to Konoha. So if he came into Konoha and he told everybody that Itachi prevented a rebellion by killing his whole clan, nobody would believe him. Well, not really anybody would believe him, even if people really knew that that was the truth. Not a lot of people would believe him. However, if he was Hokage, if he was in a position of power where he was able to explain the real situation to what happened to the Uchiha, to what happened, what Danzo did, the dog Danzo, oh, I was so glad when Danzo died. I fucking hate Danzo. What Danzo did and the sacrifices that Uchiha Itachi had to make, people would believe him, and the reputation of the Uchiha clan would be restored, because, as you all know, they obviously have a negative reputation. So that is essentially what Sasuke wants to do. He wants to tell everybody the truth, and he wants to be in a position of power to do so. And that position of power, Hokage, or more than most likely the Hokage's assistant, because the way things are going, it's 99.99995% that Naruto would more than most likely be Hokage. Otherwise, it would just be like a Valley of the End all over again, where Sasuke versus Naruto, like Madara versus Hashirama. But I'm assuming that's not going to happen, because it looks like Team 7 is all happy and shit. But yeah, this was overall one of the greatest chapters that I have read. Reading that part when Madara admitted to being the mastermind, the puppet master behind Rin, Kakashi, and Obito, that was absolutely insane. Especially when Madara says that he picked Obito specifically because of his dreams. Because the greater one's ambition is, if you can put in the slightest bit of darkness inside of them, those ambitions will also turn to darkness. So the greater their ambitions, essentially the greater their darkness. So Madara had all of these plans thought through to the bitter end. So he absolutely put in, like, ever since he lost to Hashirama, that was all he was basically thinking about day in, day out. He didn't eat, he didn't sleep, didn't shower, he didn't shit, didn't do anything. All he thought about was revenge. All he thought about was putting everybody in that infinite Tsukiyomi. He's a crazy ass motherfucker. But yeah, overall this chapter was absolutely amazing. Like, wow, oh my god, crazy. Anyways, guys, that was my fangasm of this manga chapter 4, the latest Naruto manga chapter 675. But before I go, the Otaku's random question of today. So this random question: who is your favorite Naruto character? Who is it? I would very much like to know. My favorite Naruto character, if I had to pick one out of the very many, it would be a tie, but I'd probably go with Jiraiya Sensei. Just because he's funny, you know, because he's so strong, but he's also a pervert at the same time, if you know what I mean. Like, he's the person you don't expect to be exceptionally strong, except he is incredibly strong. He went against one versus all of Pain's paths, and he, like, basically won. So yeah, that was absolutely insane. So anyways, guys, who is your favorite Naruto character? Mine is Jiraiya Sensei. It tied with Itachi, but I picked Jiraiya Sensei. Anyways, leave any thoughts, comments, questions, anything that you may have in the comment section below. Leave your answer to the Otaku's random question of the day in the comment section below. Thanks you for watching, and as always, guys, have an awesome day.